Welcome to my channel, Ken here. Let's take a look at the Fortin Cali 50-watt head. Let's go! So here's the Fortin Cali 50-watt head, high gain with a clean channel. So two high gain channels, gain 1 and gain 2, and a clean channel. From left to right you have the master volume, which is, if you look closely, there's actually two knobs. The silver is for the clean, the black is for the gain channels. Presence, bass, middle, treble, and then the clean, and then gain 1 and gain 2. So each of the gain channels, OD1 and OD2, has two gain knobs. And also you can pull out the bass knob for saturation. Underneath that you see a bunch of switches, and from left to right is thumb and hair, which is basically for the power amp. It's low and high, really. A violence switch on each of the gain channels. And then you have a bright for each channel, which is a three-way switch. The switches are pretty effective on this amp. The tone controls, not so much. But let me show you the saturation switch on a gain channel. So I'm on OD2 right now. Just adds a little bit of saturation, not a lot, but enough just to make a little bit of a difference. Probably on OD1, which is this channel, it'll probably be a little more effective. Now I'll get to the switches last, but let me just say that as far as OD1 is concerned, it's these black knobs here, and OD2 is the silver on the inside. Cascading, you know, basically from left to right. So right now we're on OD1. A lot happens with the bottom end when you start cranking that gain. And then the same thing with the OD2. Back to OD1. There's a bright cap hardwired into OD1, which makes OD1 very pushy in the top end, a little shouty, and on the crack. Compared to OD2. So it's a little more traditional OD2 in a classic way, just like the tone stack. So it'll take pedals better and it'll respond more to, you know, your traditional methods of your dialing in a tone. Now, about these bright switches, we'll stay on OD2 here. And OD1. Okay, and the clean. All right, so noticeable difference, right? On OD1, let's kick that violin switch back and forth. And on OD2, so back, a little more gain on the when it's left. Hair and thumb. This is OD2. Now, all this being said, besides the volume and the inner circle is the clean. switch to basically a lower tune guitar. And so here's where I think OD1 kind of comes into its own. It's made for low tuning, I think. So OD2. So right away it needs a boost, right? Let's try kicking max on 808 on it. Without it. And OD1. So here is where OD1 really comes into its own. Because this amp is tight, obviously, but it still is a tube amp, so it has that tube flavor to it. And yeah, I mean, this, you know, it has an effects loop in the back. You know, it has EL34s in it, so it definitely has that EL34-ish vibe to it. I tried KT77s in it, and it just got too thin for me. You know, I didn't get around to trying some 6L6s or something else, but you know, you can bias it yourself. It's pretty easy to do. So that's a thumbs up on that one. Pretty, and it's a 50-watt head, so only 2 output tubes. I mean, 90% of all applications, it'll be more than loud enough. I think this amp is very much in the modern metal vein, in the sense that you have the flexibility of whether you want to boost it or you want to just use it straight in with OD1. And of course, you know, having this flexible gain structure with the 2 knobs and the bright caps, dialing in a tone is, you can do a lot with this. And when you have down tuning, it's definitely coming into its own. Although, you know, I mean, a straight 6-string sounds good on it, but then I would definitely use OD2 for that, and it would be become more and more of a traditional amp that way. It's a cool amp, can I say? It's expensive. It does things that other amps don't do, with these bright caps in particular. I mean, it's not that bright caps hasn't been seen before, but I think bright caps, when you have a 3-way switch plus one channel has a bright cap hardwired on it, you know, it's all about tight, you know, modern metal tones on this amp. Please let me know in the comments below what you think of this. I didn't go on and on about all these different facets and colors that this amp can do, but it's a remarkable amp for very, very high gain modern metal. Anyway, please like, share, and subscribe if you like this video. And until next time, take care.